Wow. Boy, did Canelo Alvarez pick a hell of a time to fight a Russian fighter. Now you have popular video game maker, and they just released a statement which could affect the Canelo fight. Stay tuned to this video. I'm going to talk about all that. I'll be back. Payday, you want payday? What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Canelo Alvarez is fighting Russian Dmitry Bivol. Now, the fight was just recently announced for DAZN pay-per-view. Very hypocritical, if you ask me, considering DAZN's previous stance on pay-per-views and ushering in this whole notion that pay-per-view was dead and they would be the ones to rid boxing of the wretched pay-per-view, etc. Now there's even bigger problems in the world with Russia invading Ukraine and all the chaos and turmoil that has caused. And to me, like I've always stated, this complicates the Canelo Alvarez fight. Now, popular game maker EA Sports, it's in the game. They released this statement. Following the IIHF's suspension of all Russian and Belarusian national and club teams from IIHF competition, we will be removing these teams from NHL Hockey 22 within the coming weeks. Hold on. Let me say that again. Following the suspension of all Russian and Belarusian national and club teams from competition, we too will be removing these teams from a video game, NHL 22, within the next few weeks. We stand with the people of Ukraine and join the voices around the world that are calling for peace. EA Sports, you guys see, they put the EA Sports NHL Sports. So this means that popular video game makers, they want no parts of having Russia involved based on the acts that Russia has ensued upon Ukraine, right? Here's another one. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest. EA Sports stands in solidarity with the Ukrainian people and, like so many voices across the world of football, calls for peace and an end to the invasion of Ukraine. In line with our partners at FIFA and UEFA, EA Sports, it's in the game, has initiated processes to remove the Russian national team and all Russian clubs from EA Sports FIFA products, including the new FIFA 2022, FIFA Mobile, and FIFA Online. We're also actively evaluating related changes to other areas of our games. We will keep our communities up to date on any action taken and thank players for their patience as we work through these updates. Wow. And like I said at the start of this video, Canelo picked a hell of a time to go against a Russian opponent. Like, you could tell that this was going on because you see whoever this is, I guess this is a Canelo waving a Mexican flag. But in boxing, the sanctioning bodies have already stated that they will not, during this current climate, they will not allow Russian flags to be donned in the, in the ring walk, or their anthem to be sung as they're pushing for peace. So they could put the Mexico flag, but they can't put the Russian flag because the spot is too hot. Now, Ego Shadamas strikes again. Canelo Bivol will be a non-title fight if the WBA won't sanction it because Russia is, or because Bivol is a Russian citizen. Now, like I said, The block is hot. The block is hot, hot, hot. The block is hot. The spot is hot. So I know some people are scratching their head and they say, oh, but Ego, that's a video game. That's FIFA. That's NHL. What's that got to do with boxing? I just showed you. Canelo BIVOL may be a non-title fight if the WBA won't sanction it because he's a Russian citizen. So with the growing pressures based on this invasion, this has now made fights like this public enemy number one, because DAZN, they picked a heck of a time as well to initiate the pay-per-view that they said that they weren't willing to do. They said there's no reason for pay-per-view. Why do we need pay-per-view? But they decided, hey, Canelo versus a Russian fighter, Dmitry Bivol, is the first fight that we want to enact and, enable for DAZN pay-per-view. And you see what's going on in the world. So I called this immediately. I said, Canelo is also fighting. Listen, I'm the best in the business. Canelo is also fighting a Russian fighter during the middle of Russia versus Ukraine conflict. So I'm pretty sure that quote unquote boxing is not the first thing on everybody's mind in those areas. The chaos and turmoil in that region far outweighs a boxing fight because people are fighting for their lives. I predicted this. I predicted that this would, and I said, I told y'all the Canelo versus Bivol fight would reflect badly. This is all before NHL and EA Sports and FIFA pulled the plug, before the sanctioning bodies came out and said what they said. I told y'all the Canelo versus Bivol fight would reflect badly. Horrible timing. Canelo calls Demetrius Andrade a horrible fighter. Well, guess what? Your fight with Bivol out of Russia, horrible timing. And it raises concerns due to the tragedy that exists in the Ukraine. Now you have Klitschko and his brother, Vladimir and Vitaly, and sanctioning bodies pushing the ban of Russia in international sport because of this invasion. And that's in boxing specifically. And then now you're having big companies like EA Sports. I don't know their finances, I'm not a CPA, but all I know is I grew up on EA Sports. They're still around. They're a big company. I'm sure I could Google their net worth and stuff, but I'll leave that to you guys. You guys got cell phones. You guys got tablets. You guys could look at how much they're worth. But the point I'm making is, for such a huge company like EA Sports, who dabbles in the video game, to take a pledge of solidarity and let it be known that they will outcast and banish Russian teams from their video game and remove the ability or playability of these Russian teams on the game, that's a huge statement. It's kind of like when the George Floyd situation happened and Netflix and different big companies, HBO, they came out and said, finally, Black lives do matter, and we feel bad. So we're living in a time where all these things are real life, and social media exasperates the, and I guess amplifies. Social media amplifies what's going on in front of you, and it becomes menacing, and it'll beat down on you like the sun when you have these situations. This is Canelo's plan. This is who he decided, and it'll be interesting to see how this fight is viewed from a standpoint when you have Russia being pretty much removed from existence in video games and things like that on account of what's going on in the world. So it'll be I'm very curious to see how this plays out with this particular fight. This fight very well could not be for a title. So many downsides, in my opinion, to this, because Canelo could have fought on an American broadcaster, PBC, with American fighters, David Benavidez, and also Jermall Charlo, but he chose this route, and the timing just seems very horrible, especially for a big event. So will they have to take it to Dubai like some of the reports? I don't know, but I'm anxious to see. But that's what's going on in the world. These things must be considered when you are selling a product, point blank, period. Ego Stradamus strikes again. Let me know how I did in this video. And I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.